Ian, who are you picking? Seth? Mike?
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the mutant Nick Walker. And contrary to what many people think, that he's kind of done now and all he does is talk. Well, listen to this clip right here from the recent episode of Bro Chat, where Fuad asked all these guys to make their pick for this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro, where we are gonna witness this battle again of Martin versus Nick Walker. And surprisingly, guys like Ian Valier and all these others, they picked Nick Walker over Martin. And this is after Martin just placed top 4 at his Olympia debut this year, just a few weeks back.
Probably Nick, but I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be interesting.
I pick Nick too, but I want Martin to win.
I'll pick Martin.
Put it that way.
Three call out at the 2021 Arnold Classic. That's right, they added Ian Valier into the mix there beside Nick and Steve.
They placed second behind Nick Walker. So he knows what Nick Walker is truly capable of when he is on his A game, when the man is truly on.
The only reason I gave it to Nick is because he wasn't great there and he still beat Martin. And I think if he is in a bit better condition, because his condition wasn't great and his waist is slightly better, I think it'll be tough for Martin to overcome the size.
So guys having a hard time picking between Martin and Nick, and even slightly inclining towards Nick Walker. That just proves to us that Nick Walker is still one of the very best in the world. And all Nick Walker has to do is to bring back that Olympia 2022 look or the Arnold 2021 look to the stage. Now the question is, will he be able to do that?
It's going to be hard for Nick to get back there, so I'm not expecting
I do too.
as he's been. But I think it'll be a close show, and I think he'll just be able to edge Martin out just by his size and his especially like overwhelming in certain shots.
Well, I have got to say there is no reason he shouldn't, because Nick Walker is still fairly young, and there is no reason for his body to stop responding so early in his career and the way it is supposed to. So will Martin Fitzwater try to play the size game now that Nick Walker is in? No, he's pretty clear that he's gonna stick to his strengths. And there is one thing that Martin has, which Nick Walker just doesn't have, and that is a better quad sweep and a better shape and a much smaller waistline. And that gives him that crazy X-frame, which in turn gives him a much more aesthetic look on the stage. And that is exactly where he's gonna expose Nick Walker at this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro. So there is only so much muscle mass Martin will be able to pack on for this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro. So Nick Walker will definitely have the size advantage and the freak factor over Martin, just like he had at this year's New York Pro, where even a very underwhelming version of Nick Walker, he was still able to beat a great version of Martin Fitzwater. And maybe Martin will rethink his decision of doing VBO in APRO, if in fact he is planning to do that, because he has to bring a very fresh look at this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro, because Nick Walker is going to be coming back to the stage after almost 1 year. Not to mention, we might see Derek Linsford as well at this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro.
I think I'm going to pick Martin too. You know what? Nick is going to be obviously extremely impressive because he's going to be hard as nails. It's going to come down to the waist. If his waist looks like it looked in New York, I think Martin will edge him out this time.
I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be
I
interesting.
pick Nick too, but I want Martin to win.
I'll pick Martin.
Put it that way.
Pittsburgh Pro. Did you win that already? No, it's the first year they're doing that. Yeah.
Twice. So.
Who knows? I may or may not go for 3.
So Nick Walker also just hinted that he might go for the New York Pro as well, because then he's gonna have 3 of those beautiful rings, the New York Pro rings. And for the people who do not know or do not remember, New York Pro was actually Nick Walker's first pro win back in 2021, and he won the Arnold that same year. So it will all come down to what kind of a look he brings to his first show of the year, which is gonna be Pittsburgh Pro. Now the man looks freaking huge right now, and this is the last week of his off-season training, and starting January, Nick will go into the first phase of his contest prep. So the good thing for Nick Walker is that 2 bad years where he did not compete at the Olympia, which was kind of disappointing and very frustrating, and not just for the fans, for Nick Walker himself. That just allowed him to develop a much thicker skin, and no people calling him different names. That just doesn't bother him.
It doesn't bother me. Anyone who knows me knows that just drives me even more. And I don't think I'm far from done.
Because he 100% believes that he has the ability to make a great comeback next year and potentially be in the top Olympia group once again. And I have been telling you guys all this time that Nick Walker is a very smart bodybuilder and no one should count him out. So just imagine Nick Walker making this comeback and bringing his career's best look with his new coach. So the more content he's putting out, the more hype he's getting. And it's just gonna take one big show to earn all that respect back from the fans as well as from the bodybuilding legends that he kind of lost in the last 2 years because he was just unable to compete. So Nick's Olympia 2022 package, that was pretty damn impressive. And that of course is gonna give Martin Fitzwater a serious run for his money.
You know, since everyone thinks, you know, I just talk the talk now, and I get why people are saying that, but, you know, I think people forget that I've walked the walk probably almost more than anybody.
The Mona Lisa of bodybuilding, Andrew Jacked, mostly doesn't ever reflect on his Olympia placings, and he just goes right back to work. But this clip right here, from his recent YouTube video, that just goes to show us how disappointed he was on that Olympia 2024 package. So him and his team 100% believed that they are coming for the win this year. But he was just way far off from his personal best, which we saw from him at this year's Texas Pro. And that is actually the reason why Andrew doesn't like to look at the videos or pictures of him from this past Mr. Olympia.
Why you hate watching it?
Because it's not supposed to be like that, bro.
Right,
The
I know.
plan and everything wasn't supposed to be that.
Right,
Supposed to be the other one.
right.
It is what it
That's
is,
fine.
bro. It's disappointing and it's heartbreaking, bro.
So there is an incredible amount of effort and dedication that goes into prepping for such a big show like the Olympia or the Arnold. Andrew goes out there to train with Chris Lewis, aka Psycho Fitness, and he does everything that he's supposed to do, but still not bringing his all-time best to the biggest bodybuilding stage in the world. That is certainly disappointing. And one thing that particularly is important in reference to Andrew Jacked is the age factor as well, because the man is close to 40 years old, although he is relatively young in the comparative bodybuilding ranks, but still the man is 40 years old. And that is why he will still have a very short window where he can continue to progress and maybe fight for that Mr. Olympia title. So this upcoming Arnold, that is gonna be such an exciting show because we have these two guys, Andrew Jacked and Derek, who did not bring their best at the Olympia this year, and they are coming for redemption. And there is a high likelihood that Andrew at this upcoming Arnold, that is gonna be miles better than what we saw from him at the Olympia this year. Next up is the physique update from Rubiel Mosquera. So add him to the long list of guys who are making their comeback at this upcoming New York Pro, which is happening in May. And let's just assume that Rubiel totally locks himself in for this prep, just like he did when he was prepping for Dubai Pro this year. Can he be the one who can really shock the bodybuilding world once again in 2025? Now Rubiel looked amazing at his pro debut in Prague last year, and some people were just so damn convinced that he should have beaten Michael Crizo at that show. Now most of us do not agree with that, but that was a great package, and all Rubiel needs to do is compete more often, and there is a chance that with every dieting phase, he's gonna bring out more detail, more separation overall in his physique, and that will make him a lot more combative and a lot more dangerous on the stage. So looking at Rubiel's physique, what is his biggest weakness? Certainly his shoulders. They are just too small for his arms and his chest, and overall his entire body. But who doesn't only have a weak point, a weak body part? So there are some great opportunities waiting for Rubiel Mosquera if he gets really serious about competing and if he is truly determined to be a better bodybuilder rather than just being the biggest bodybuilding freak of this era. Now the man is fairly young and he had a terrible 2024 year, and that's simply based on the amount of shows that he pulled out of, and that too for whatever reason. So the New York Pro next year is gonna have a crazy lineup. So we do not expect Rubiel to win that show, especially if Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater jump into that show. But a comparison with the top 4 best bodybuilder in the world and a freak of nature like Nick Walker, that will be one of the most exciting things. Now I hope you guys remember that this was a match that was supposed to happen at the New York Pro this year before Rubiel pulled out of that show. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.